Welcome to episode 14 of Live Life by Design. I am your host, Nicole Parado, and I have a very special guest here today, Kara Mann. Kara is the founder of Free Soul Dance and has spent over 20 years teaching and choreographing dance, which led her to her current expertise and soul mission as an energy healer, intuitive movement guide, vibratory alchemy practitioner, intuitive coach, and soul mentor. Kara combines these skills to help others release the past, heal from trauma, and reconnect with themselves, both physically and energetically. She empowers beings to embody their most authentic, healthy, and balanced selves. Can you see how important this work is? Guys, do not scroll away, stay. You are gonna wanna hear the rest of this bio because it's so good, and the conversation and the activations we have for you today. From a young age, Kara was highly sensitive and intuitively connected to the energies she experienced around her. Can you relate? Dance became her refuge, offering a way to channel her emotions and find peace in her body amidst the intensity of her sensitivity. Over the years, she has worked with people of all ages, fostering creativity in children, empowering teens, and helping adults reconnect with their inner strength. Through her own life experiences, which I'm sure we're going to dive into relationships today, Kara discovered the importance of letting go of societal expectations and the pressure to conform. She now guides others to release those external layers and create lives that truly reflect who they are. Her approach blends movement, sound healing, music, breath, and energy work, activating each person's innate ability for self-healing and transformation. In her journey to becoming a certified vibratory alchemy practitioner, Kara experienced a profound reopening of her vocal self-expression through vibrational medicine practices, which empowered her to speak freely with confidence, leaving behind the pain and attachments that had stifled her powerful voice. I got to witness that full-fledged. Now she helps others do the same, walking with them through their own shadows with gentle compassion. She guides them to create lives that resonate with their authenticity, innate gifts, and deepest values, liberating them to take the lead of their sacred human vessel and inner divine world. Welcome, Kara.
Hello.
So happy that you're here. I gotta say, guys, that normally I gift people, I retune their bios and make it different. And with Kara, when she sent it to me, I was like, this is just like perfect. This is the essence that is her and the bulk of her work and everything that she does. So part of the work that we did together is Kara went through a training with me to become a vibratory alchemy practitioner, and she blew my mind in her practices. You guys got to follow her on Instagram and on YouTube. I'll put all that stuff in the show notes and in her latest offerings. But she really blossomed in a profound way to find her own unique expression. So just to hear her write that bio with the conscious language is just, it's just such a celebratory energy. Like, I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you. And it was kind of surreal to hear you reading it to me as I listened to you, kind of with your expression and with your emotion. It made me experience it in a whole new way. And so thank you so much for doing that. I'm so honored to be here and be able to talk with you now. And it's been such a amazing journey. And it seems like it's really long, but it's been about 2 years total, probably, since this has all been blossoming. But this is a new place. And I used to be very in my head about doing stuff like a bio and how am I going to explain what I do in these few short things, all the passion I have inside. But part of the work is just kind of keep focusing in, keep believing in yourself, and then eventually you see it happen and you're like, oh my gosh, it happened. I did it. It's real. And that was just a whole moment for me, which has just been, yeah, surreal, I have to say.
You know, I love it because a lot of what I taught throughout the program is conscious language, right? And
Hmm.
how to match your feelings and your energy and light and code it with the words that describe you. And as I was reading their bio, I was reading the vibration of it. And that's what's so powerful is when we consciously can weave our bios, our offerings, any writing, whether we're a professional and writing a manual for something, writing a book report, we can choose to write it with light encoded vibrational words that weave a story when you speak it out loud or when you read it and just feel it. And your bio does that.
Thank you.
It does all your work,
Thank
all your
you.
posts. All your posts is like literally a transmission. And
Yeah.
so this is a new way, guys, of using being a vibratory alchemy practitioner. It's not just like doing sound healing and finding the power of your voice and using vibration. It's also the conscious language and how you speak and communicate and lead in this world.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a huge opportunity for us to communicate with who we want to communicate with, being conscious of how they're picking it up, who is feeling the energy, where they're at. All those things are so important because we have such an important message to share. We have all these ways we can help people, but if they can't understand or they can't be reached because our voices are quiet or we're not saying the right thing with the right energies sometimes because we're not coming through our hearts. When we do come through our hearts, then we can really find the people that need to hear what we're saying, which is hugely empowering, coming from my experience, definitely.
Yeah, and it's broadcasting a signal, right? Like that's what I feel like in your posts and in your work is that like you are so intentional about what you're crafting and putting out that it's like a call for a specific group of people to find you that are ready for you. And that's what's so powerful is when you can create with that intention and craft it in such an artful way you do it.
Thank you. It's nice to be able to use my creative side in that way from my years of choreographing and just wanting to edit these little videos and stuff like that to do it more intentionally and really understand the energetics behind it has just blown my mind how I can use it. And it makes me have fun and all of the pressure too. There is pressure to, doing this work and opening up your vulnerabilities to kind of the world to see it. So being able to have fun and use my creativity and create these almost artistic experiences gives me a whole nother channel to express, which is exactly what my whole goal was to begin with this whole process, just to express in a way that feels good for me, authentic, and be able to get those words out that are all up there flying around in my head, like channel them into the body, which has been huge in this work.
And that's why I'm so impressed with you. And it's like, yeah, we know you're a dancer and we can talk about dance, but what Spirit's really bringing to the forefront for you is to celebrate your ability to have the words now and to organize the words and to create epic content. Like, as a content creator, like, you really stepped into this whole new level of content creation through the awakening of more of your soul.
Right.
And part of this work, guys, I just want to like rewind a little bit, is when you're going through this vibratory alchemy practitioner program that I did with a couple of people privately, I didn't offer this publicly to anyone, was you start to strip away everything that's not you. so that you can really create from your most authentic, vulnerable, I want to say vulnerable self. You need to go in and recognize what is my mess is my medicine. Like you have to heal your mess and do the shadow work. And so I just want to rewind this with Kara, is she had so many ideas and like so much. Like you would ask her to write and she would like just write, like there's so much within her. So to see this like next level content creator who's organized and her words hold power and their storytelling is just such a gift that you unlocked.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was definitely the most challenging part
Yeah.
of my journey, I would say. So to be here saying, oh my goodness, this actually worked it's like gives me chills right now, just like sitting here like, oh my gosh.
Right.
It
And
turned on, it activated, it was
it
there.
did.
It was there. And it just like exactly what you said. It's taking away all the things that were holding me back, all the things that were getting in the way of me being able to hold that frequency in my body itself and not get so nervous and sweating and like, spend 3 hours on a little tiny post or something. Like getting that more balanced and harmonized within my body was huge as well to do that. Yeah.
And having fun and playing during the creative process instead
Yeah.
of being overwhelmed by it. So I just want to
Yeah.
celebrate that gift in you. And I feel like you wanted to say something about the overwhelm in content creation. Maybe you have some tips because you totally healed and transcended that. Guys, this is such a gift for you. I I can't stop but highlight it and I want to just bring it back to also your marketing background. So not only is she a choreographer, she went to college for marketing. And so it's funny that you might enter some of these containers thinking that you want to activate more of a certain gift, but you're surprised that a whole new streamline of gifts come online.
Yeah, yeah. So when I did marketing too, it was back before social media days. People weren't being like, hey, I'm being honest. And you still see that today. You still see there's certain kind of marketing that feels a little less personal. And then to be the one to step out and start doing the other thing, I think that was kind of what I put a lot of pressure on myself some of the time was to kind of like, how am I going to show up in this way? There's all these things, there's all these trends, there's like, you could do this and that. And it's so much more involved now just to start a business. You just kind of have to get involved in all that. But it all comes down to that same lesson of being strong and knowing who you are, what's your message, and who are you speaking with was the most important thing as a foundation for me to come back to again and again and again. And not being afraid to just wipe everything clean, like not like delete everything, but just be like, okay, this isn't working right now. Whatever I'm doing, it's okay. I'm just going to let it go. I'm going to like take some space, almost like clean your canvas off and then just start fresh again. And that was something important I had to remember too, is that like, this is trial and error. This isn't like you're going to get it perfect. You're not going to get millions of followers on your first post or anything like that. Or, it's putting all that pressure on yourself is what just made me stop and freeze a bunch of the time when I really had ideas to say. But just keep persevering one step at a time. Nope, we're not going to quit. We're going to go at this again. What didn't you like last time? What made you uncomfortable? Like what parts of you are screaming, no, that's not how we want to do it? Because I know I've discovered I have like a little bit of an inner rebel. And she likes to do things like her own way. And my archetype is like, I like to do things my own way. So I wasn't going to necessarily jump on the trends all the time because that didn't make me feel good in my skin. Like I was like this. And I like to listen to a lot of different methods. There's a lot of people out there that can tell you some really good information, but there had to be this two-phase thing where I took in the information, I like scattered it around like this big project, just like, okay. And then I had to like let it all go and then see what sticks, what came back to me, what was part of what I wanted to do, because if I just tried to fit into that mold or fit into this idea or this concept, it didn't work for my inner rebel, because I had to know, keep her in mind, she doesn't feel free. So she's not going to say those vulnerable things that she should be saying. She's going to hold back. She's going to, so that was kind of important, just to keep myself, who I am, in the forefront and not be afraid to stick with that, with all the information that came in. And there were some big breaks. I had a recent big break before this. So, and it was like palate cleansers were just very important for me some of the time.
Yeah. Do you want to share a big break that you've had recently?
Well, it's just like, I was getting the hang of it. Things were going well. And then I kind of had this new sense of like, I'm not totally telling my story. Like, I'm telling a story, but like, how do I tell this story? How do I do this? And I was actually in a really good place when I decided to take this, I don't know, sacred pause, we'll call it. And there was just a sense where I couldn't do it. I was like, nope, you just need to go right. You need to go away from this. And there was more of my mess to clean up. And there was like things in my life that I hadn't realized were interrupting my flow, that all of a sudden became apparent. And I was like, if I'm going to grow into this space where I'm really speaking to the public the way I want to, like, I have to be brave enough to risk it. And I felt like I was risking my consistency and like things that were happening, but there was also just like, it was that inner guide. She was there, like, so powerful, which was part of like this journey, was just having my inner guide and my higher selves like so close. And it was like, no, like, just breathe, just breathe. Don't listen to anybody else, because we know kind of what's going to come up. And I think the whole thing was really just to become more human. And there was some stuff that was going to come up in my life that I didn't know was coming. And I almost felt like the angels knew it was coming. It was a big loss in my life. I lost a friend of mine, right almost when I picked right back up to start doing stuff again. But it was almost like perfect timing, because I had gone through all my clothes and started to like bring back a piece of me that I had let go because of my relationship past and other things. And just that, like, getting rid of everything, like, everything's gone. Now, who are you? Okay, let's like get in there and decide who you are. So I just was like, I have to step back. So I did, went through all my clothes, got a whole new wardrobe. There was a bunch of things that happened. My friend passed away, which was a very hard time. But it was also just, I was there. I was so present as a human being, like, where I had been like so up in my head and far away some of the time. But it was like this rawness that I really, really needed to like complete this entire cycle. And after that happened, there was another thing that happened where I had a panic attack. And I've never had a panic attack ever before in my life. And it was this crazy thing where the download was my nervous system reset itself. Like, I took this break, I became full on human Kara in this new level form. My body was like freaked out. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, do I have like a disorder? Like, the health things that come along with body resets, like, it happens in the energetics, but right, we know it comes down into the physical too. And I was like, am I going to have this forever? And it went on for about a week. And then after that, like, I knew it was a system reset. I had to support it. I had to feel secure. I had to let it happen. And I haven't had one since that time. And I came back onto the internet, came back to my community in like this new powerful way, feeling like I could handle anything. And the universe did pull up some spots to like test me. Like, I had to like manage these men working in my house. And usually I would have just like gone and complained in the corner or like did my little text. But I just was like, stood there. I was like, listen, guys, this and this and this is my home. This is what I need. And it was like, there was no anxiety. I was like, what is going on? This is amazing. So I think sometimes, it is important to just listen to your body, even if it doesn't make logical sense. Because my brain was like, oh my gosh, you're throwing away everything. And my body was like, no, you're like making this like solid last brick of your foundation right now. And it's going to be the last brick to this. Now we're going to build, we're going to go,
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been going through for the past few months, which was very unexpected. But I think the unexpected is so important, and knowing how to hold it in your body. I wouldn't have been able to do any of that previous to that moment. So that's this time period, this year, 2024. So it all ended up working out, and it was really meant to be, and the growth is here. So if you're out there struggling and feeling these things, don't give up, because things change. It's so important to think about your state as a temporary state. Like, I had this habit, I think, of being like, this is permanent, because some of my things that I went through lasted a really long time, but it had nothing to do with those times. And I had to reteach myself, this is a temporary moment. It's okay to feel like crap. Like, it's okay. Like, healing's not about feeling perfect all the time. You know, becoming empowered is not that. It's being able to handle those situations much better, and to hold it all in your body, and to stay balanced in those hard times that are surely going to come to all of our lives. It's part of being human. So
Yeah, and I want to add that that is a huge thing for you to do when you're rebuilding, is to declutter your space and to get rid of items from relationships that are no longer aligned in your life, and literally just do the intuitive body test. Like, do I really need this? Is this serving me right now? If not, okay, donation bin. Really doing that is key, because you're going to clear so much space for the new. And like what Kara is saying, we need to normalize the detox systems, okay? Because you get these energy upgrades, you get all the downloads, and your body needs to acclimate to it. And that can look like you needing a lot of rest, being really tired, having high levels of anxiety because your body doesn't know how to disperse all this energy that's coming through. So sometimes it can feel like you're regressing, but you are getting better. So when you're using vibrational medicine and working consciously with energy, you're creating a new environment in your body. So anything that is not of that new environment, that higher vibration, is going to come to the surface for you to review and look at. And the cool thing is like, you don't have to dive so deep into the story of like the victim of this happened to me, da 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 da. Like, you can use the energy, the sound, the movement, the essential oils, and all sorts of different modalities, breath work, all of it, dance, to get rid of it, to excavate. And so that's why this work that Kara and that I do, and that most of the people that I've had on this podcast do, is so important, especially merging it in school systems and in medical facilities, because these are foundational components needed to help every single person lead a life that is fulfilling on a personal and a professional level. We're not taught how to cope with our feelings and our emotions. We're taught to, kids eating, getting on their iPads, video games, right? Adults drinking, sex, jumping from relationship to relationship, binge watching Netflix, whatever. There's just so many things that we use to distract us from literally managing and handling our emotions and our energy and our feelings.
yeah, and that definitely makes the difference. It's really going inward is where you're going to actually make the changes. Because I went through all the therapy, and I knew in my brain, like my thoughts, like everywhere, you know, I knew what I wanted to happen. I knew why things happened. I got what's going on, and it was like we didn't need any more of that. It was actually working with this physical being and this energetic field that needed to happen. So it's kind of a little bit different. And what you're saying, like going into the mental, even the mental health field as well, to be able to create these spaces and to work with the energy in the body, it would open up so much for people to understand what they're going through. Because even just like that panic attack situation, you know, I went on the internet and looked up what do people think, but and what are people dealing with and what should I do? Am I dying? But because of my experience, because I was so in touch with my body, I was able to curb a lot of the anxiety and really lean into it and accept what was happening with my body in a whole different way than I'd been anxiously like, why is this happening? And that like thought of like, am I going to die, continued to stay with me. I probably maybe would have continued to have panic attacks. And like, I know the deeper reason for what I was healing, right? But that didn't matter. What I needed to do was support my body and able to open that area. And it was like a lot in this ribby chest area where I've been working through so much, so much old relationship grief and trauma. And, you know, just if you went to the doctor and they could be like, hey, like, do you have attachments still to this old relationship? And, you know, they could tell you instead of being like, you're, you know, in your brain, you're like, I'm fine. I'm over that person. I'm over it. But like these energetic attachments and the way we interact as human beings on such a deeper level, to be able to access that information in the healthcare field would be like phenomenal. Yeah. Like it would blow the whole thing up in this really amazing way.
It needs to be bridged, and that's the work that I do, is working with so many different professionals that are ready to put this into their practice and have it on the side before they're willing to like maybe leave their job completely. They're starting to use it and build on the side. And then people that are already like, I know that this is what I'm doing and I'm building a business doing it. But this needs to be complementary.
Yeah.
In all different kinds of professions, it changes the way we live as human beings. Like yeah. Literally. And talk about like genius too, activating a whole new level of genius when you're actually doing this, new gifts come online that make you more proficient at work. Like you're able to produce yes. at a whole new level and create and blow your mind and just be like, wait, that actually just came from me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I could just like, I always imagine like, oh, what if you like went to like the gynecologist and, you know, they cleared the space for you like energetically before you got there. They like calmed and grounded you for a moment. You know, they came in with a purposeful energy, knowing how they're actually interacting with you. And after you're in this very intimate situation, they went and then also, you know, cleared that energy, like closed up the space and like, how would that feel differently for you in those like situations? Like it would just be so much higher level of care just to start with these tiny little changes, which wouldn't even have to be somebody like changing their whole business. You're just like, hey, like this doctor actually makes me feel good. They listen to me. They can tell like how I'm feeling, you know, a little bit better than when you go in and you're kind of just like, oh, you know, they ask you the questions and you feel nervous, you feel anxiety the whole time. Like
you feel rushed.
It's against the whole point of doing it in the first place. Yeah, you're rushed, you're in, you're out, like you don't feel connected to this person. So it's just like bringing that real intimate healing into anything would be amazing for our world, I think. And it's definitely changed my life in so many good ways.
Yeah, so I want to take a integration pause for some of this so you guys can start to feel the energy in your heart and ground, because I know the energies have been intense and it might have you guys feeling wobbly and shaky and unsure of yourself, unsure of your path and which direction to take, because let's be real here. It's intense times. There's a shakeup because if you haven't been doing the energetic work and the inner work, you're feeling the call that something has to change. You're feeling where you need to change big things in your life. So, Kara, I invite you to co-create this process with me. I'm going to start with just inviting everybody to sit upright. So if you're slouching on your couch or in a chair, I want your spine nice and long and erect, shoulders away from the ears, sit bones rooted to the chair. Even if you want to bring your booty to the end of the chair so you can feel your feet on the floor, if that works for you, you go ahead and do so. And Just drop into the belly. Everybody just let their belly expand fully. No sucking it in, just let it hang. And just allow yourself to breathe naturally. Breathe naturally. There's nothing that you have to do right now. You don't have to be anyone else but you right now. And so that means you can let all your muscles release tension from holding patterns. And now if your body is going to start to want to fall forward a little bit and your head drop, like your chin towards your chest, let it happen. Let the energy begin to melt the tension off of your body, giving you this nice soul refresh. Just let it all start to fall. No more holding patterns. Now you can start to just let your body do what it needs to do. You might even want to stretch from side to side, open it. You might feel the energy in your ribs and your spine wanting to open as you want to twist. That's where we get in, is to these nice spinal twists. If you feel like you want to just go side to side, front to back, let the energy come in. Part of Kara and my gifts together is we're movement medicine specialists. And when we bring in energy, wherever it's not flowing, your body's going to start wanting to do weird things in our presence. Like just flow, dance, move. It's the energy we're bringing in. So trust however you're moving and whatever you're feeling right now, because we're bringing in fresh energy to move those pockets of stagnation. Good. I'm going to bring it to you now, Kara.
Okay. So, just trying to bring it in the energy here. So I like to do the spirally, the swirling kind of around the aura, around the sides, and just to really take up the space in this 3D bubble that you are in, knowing you're not a 2D thing. You're this real, physical, dense being here on this planet, and just feeling that connection to the organic nature of yourself. Just using your hands to just kind of feel around your body, just feeling that that solidness, that sometimes you feel like you're kind of weak, or you're this like little invisible person, but you are dense. You're taking up space, and just using that density to ground you into the power of this organic earth that we're on. And just bringing in the hands to the chest. There we go. And just connecting those powerful hands, bringing in all that energy that you just created, beaming from the heart, beaming outward, really completing that circle of calm, release, dissipating that intense vibration, allowing that to just melt down to your root. Taking some deep breaths. Beautiful. Just letting those hands fall into the lap. Checking one last time that you're not sucking in that belly again. You're allowing that space for the organs, for the diaphragm to move how it wants. One last breath. Blowing it all the way with the wind. Settling into that clear, grounded space where you are the center of your world right now.
Elamatoria kikia sanea itia om. Ariakita kusharakata saraitia om. Namakaria itia om. Ina makara hara 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 release. E makura siki yari 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 release. Ora sanaka no ina makara ora hi hara 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 kaka rama sat namoriaki. Release.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just really breathe and release the density that you've been carrying. Just allow it to fall away. All you have to do is set the intention to feel more grounded, safe, nourished, loved, and held in the body. Can you trust yourself to lead yourself? Can you trust yourself to make decisions? Can you trust yourself to share your stories with pure honesty? Being vulnerable is a superpower. Good.
Fairies are really coming in, just like playing and offering us all joy. Just allowing yourself to feel joy. Like smiling a lot, but they were just coming in so strong. And I love bringing in the fairies to these kind of moments. They're just so real and raw and just like playful.
Kara, what's coming through is for you to pull some cards for us in this energy to give a little sample of your magic.
I was going to grab my cards, so give me 1 second because I
Yeah.
didn't actually bring them into my little space.
And guys, while she's getting that, what I want to show is that it takes a lot for people to come in to their ability to speak their soul and to divinely channel and use their natural gifts that aren't like mainstream things. So what Kara and I are doing here, it's not something that it's like, oh, you're trained to do this movement, you're trained to weave. No, it is a soul gift. And when we close our eyes and we're bringing these energies through and directing you, we're speaking from our soul. And that takes practice. And that's a lot to do. And so I just want to give Kara credit for like coming on here, because if you guys could see Kara's growth, it's tremendous for anybody that comes out of the spiritual closet to divinely channel and speak their soul and share unique gifts that are not happening. Like, yeah, you do see some people doing some things, but like every one of us has a unique gift and nobody can do it the way you do it. There can be people that are doing it similarly, but it's not the same. So I just want to say, keep practicing, guys. Keep practicing and letting your soul speak through you and making decisions based on that and letting yourself lead yourself. And the more you do that, more will open for you in life.
Yeah, totally. And that's like a huge part of my story, I think, is that like this is very, this isn't something I grew up with. It isn't something that was like in my family or even around anybody I really knew. So tapping into these things was definitely hard to like come out and be like, oh, here, this is what I'm doing now. And even just to like be brave enough to let it all out there and to go into the unknown without needing a script or needing to follow anything, but really following what's in your heart. And, you know, I think even though it wasn't something that I was very immersed with, my whole life was leading up to it anyways. Like how I progressed into dance and found my voice through dance and became a teacher when I was a really shy kid, and all these things. I had a challenging relationship history and stuff like that was actually all very spiritual, but I wasn't classifying that way. So if you are in a part of your life where you're like, this is so new and like I'm so behind, like you're not behind, like your whole life has been leading up to this. And then a lot of times it comes out of nowhere. It really does. You're like she said before, I'm like, what's coming out of me? Like, how did this happen? And once you see the results, it's even more crazy and
It's crazy.
amazing.
And I guess before you pull the card, because you just opened up a whole portal just now. So I want to share this with you guys. What she's saying is exactly right. Don't feel like you're behind. And it doesn't matter also what age you are. And part of, if you're drawn into my world, I'm an activator. So, like, even if you're like, I'm so new to this, if you're drawn to me, you're not new to this. You've been doing it for lifetimes. And literally, when I activate you and we turn on the switch, you start doing things that you're like, what? That's coming out of me? How did I know how to do this? Oh my God, I'm like speaking my soul. I'm channeling. I have gifts. I'm moving energy. Like all these things start happening. And then you realize that you are actually pretty masterful at it. You just have not been allowing it to shine through. And the more you liberate yourself from patterns and belief systems that were passed down to you and open up and activate, you're going to blow your mind. So, right, Kara? Like it's a
Yeah, I think I blow my mind once a week these days.
And I want to tell you, like, too, I got to share my story on how we found each other, and then you can share how you found me and you decided to work
Yep.
with me because I think this is so funny. Because, like Kara, I'm a rebel too. If you guys haven't noticed, I don't do things the way everybody else is doing it, and I will push limits to show that anything is possible. And I keep showing up and I keep showing up. And even in times when it doesn't feel like things are moving, and then all of a sudden it like is raining abundance and I quantum leap. So I just want to say that to you guys that there's so much magic when you work with frequency that the way I attract clients into my world, I don't do like these funnel things. I don't DM people and invite them into a conversation. Like I don't do any of the things that people in business and marketing recommend to do. I do what my soul is called to do, is to pioneer a new way of doing business and building a brand and attracting ideal clients. So I do it all with energetic frequency and this energetic architecture method that I have that is unique to every single person that I call forth's soul. So when I say that, I mean I'm putting the signal, and I believe in soul agreements that I'm just broadcasting like, hey, I'm here. When you're ready, remember, pay attention to that feeling in your body, and the person knows. It's not even a logical thing. It's a magnetic pull. They just know, I got to do this. I got to invest. I don't even know what this is or what it's going to be, but I know I have to be here and I need to be here with her. And so I was at the grocery store. I'll never forget this because this is just so crazy. So now Jesus is a big deal in my life, but it's not like I'm not pointing it as like that's my only like thing, but Jesus is a very big guide in my life, always has been. So I am in the grocery store and I just launched this Divine Creator program, and I'm like singing, like making up Jesus songs as I'm shopping in the produce section. And I'm like feeling like all this expansive energy. And I'm like, just singing. I get to the checkout and there's this woman and she's singing Jesus music, but her song was like some sort of gospel music, and she's bagging my items and she's like, honey, good things are coming for you. I feel it. Something good is really coming for you. And I'm like, okay, like, she's vibing, I'm singing Jesus, and she's looking me right in the eyes and she's like, honey, there's something really good coming for you. So I heard a ding, like a notification on my phone, but I didn't open it because I had to load the car into groceries. I mean, load the groceries into the car. And there's a message from Kara saying that she really wants to do the Golden Jaguar path, which was my VIP offering, and that she was called to work with me, and she wanted to make sure, she had to get something with her bank and da da da. And we have the same bank. I'm not going to mention the name, but we have the same bank, and the bank that we have is not like a normal bank. Like I have a special smaller bank, okay? I don't use the big banks. And so I just thought it was just like so crazy. And I knew, and I was like, this is a soul agreement coming forth. And this is how people show up in my world. So now I'm going to let Kara share her experience on how you find your people and how you have to trust it for her.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't make
Well, I
sense.
mean, finding Nicole is insane, pretty much. Like, I found her through her husband's Twitter account. So her husband had just shared like her little thing, and then it was an abundance portal that she was doing for 5 days, and I was like, just in like this awakening of everything, and I was just like, hey, I mean, this sounds good. I'm gonna try it. And so I popped on there, and I wasn't going to go live even. Like, I wasn't going to go to the Zoom. I didn't know who this lady was. Like, what are we doing here? Like, she looks cool and stuff. Like, I felt like she looked like kind of angelic in a way. And I was like, I like that. I like that, and it was all about the vibe. And once I did the first day of the abundance portal, then I was like, okay, what was that? That was amazing. I don't know why I like it. I don't even know what I'm doing, but this is amazing. Like, my soul lit up, and it was like I felt that pull. And then after that, she announced that she was doing a divine creator program, and I was like, that is exactly what I need to be doing in order to up level my dance, which is what I've been wanting to do forever. It was just perfect timing. And for me, it's like I never even would do anything like a big like that. I didn't like to just take the VIP, like, I'm doing this, I want the attention, I want to be like all the way in on this so far. Like, I just jumped, and everything worked out amazing, actually. And it was her vibration. Like, I had always had like sort of mentors, but never actually had a mentor. And it was part of my inner child too, wanted a mentor that would be there for me in holding my sensitivities in like high regard, and like that they meant something, that they were something. And I mean, Nicole was all about that. And then she was like, I do dance. And I was like, what, you do dance? Oh my God, this is perfect. This is so perfect. And so from there, it was just like, yeah, it was a beautiful gift for me. And, it wasn't even her. She made the website, but her husband shared it. And that's what brought me into there. And it was all a feeling. And it really like was exactly what I was looking for. And it's so nice to have a mentor in this part of my life, and to kind of reconcile like other things as well. And maybe it's just, that's your soul contract, like you said. And, for me too, like, I don't get big replies from advertisements, or if I'm doing the thing, but there's just like people that will slide into my life, and they'll be like, start asking me questions. And then they're like, wait a second, how do you know everything that I need to know, kind of situation. And then from there, that's where it ends up just turning into like, they either join my community and they're doing, the dance and the movement and kind of using that community energy, or then some of them decide to work with me one-on-one, which is, the best. I love that. I never even knew I would like to do that kind of thing. And it is like my bread and butter, like working one-on-one with people is really awesome for me.
And I gotta say, so in part of the training program, like, they had to do sessions and lead each other and practice doing group webinars and whatnot in the program that I offered to them. And they were all so nervous because, they weren't sure that they could channel and that they could serve, but they were blew their minds, all of them. They blew their minds because as soon as they hit the button, they were like serving each other and just a divine channel for spirit. And I mean, I was just so proud of you guys. And I knew, and especially you, Kara, I knew that you were destined to lead groups and one-on-ones and do such big work. And when the teacher is ready, the students show up. And like, I really believe that. When you're ready, the students show up, but it's up to you to broadcast your light and to put that signal because
Yeah.
you can't just sit there. Like, you
Mhm.
have to have nets to bring people in, you have to have offerings to bring people to.
Yeah.
So that's, and I'm just so proud of you and that you answered the call and you continue to grow and expand. And it's like the gift that keeps giving because once you receive so many codes, it's like you can't even
Yeah.
unpack all of it. You're still unpacking it now.
Yes, yes, definitely. It's definitely like insane. Like you're not gonna even you can't experience it all physically right away. I mean, you wouldn't
Yeah.
even be able to handle it. It wouldn't, it just unfolds as you go and you will never know that experience until you do it and then you just allow it to unfold. Like you can't judge it, you know, you can't overanalyze. Like once you start just going and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Or like you feel clicks. I love to that feeling of just like, and it's about doing. It's like the power is in the first step. It's not before the first step. Like the power is in those steps. Like those steps empower me and build, and then something clicks and I'm like, oh my gosh, I used to be so nervous to do that. And now I'm just like, up, it's totally fine, you know, kind of feeling to it. So
Oh, and that's what I love about your work too. And guys, so when you follow Kara, she does these. Are you doing it weekly now or monthly? Did you
I'm doing
go with that?
a free once a month
Okay.
soul refresh session, and then I'm going to do one over Zoom expanded to an hour long so I can like stand up and we can move more or we can have more time together. So it'll be 4 times a month. 3 will be privately over Zoom that you
Okay.
can kind of sign up for that.
Is that a paid offering or is that a
Yeah.
free offering? Okay, that one's a paid one and then one
Yeah.
free one. Okay,
And
gotcha.
one, yep, the free one will be on Instagram and those will all be on Thursdays.
And I'll have all the links for you guys to try the free one and then decide if you want to sign up for the paid one, which I would highly recommend. Now, this is what I
Yeah.
want to say. If you guys are new and just finding this video or that you've been following me for a long time, you know that this goes beyond the mind. So when you go to Kara's sessions, just be open to feel. Don't intellectualize. Let your body do the thing because her movement is her medicine and so is the energetics. Like she brings in the energy that will just open up your body and have you breathing deeper and literally a soul refresh. It's literally a refresh. Like you will feel refreshed. She's strengthening the auric field, she's clearing the auric field, and she has her own unique style of doing it. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Yeah, and it's just always been kind of a natural thing that I didn't even know I was doing is that like breathing the energy of other bodies. And it's like through the movement, you can tap in to these energetics in a different way where you're not going in through the brain. You know, you're able to just follow and feel. And that's what kind of makes it a little bit different. And it it makes it a little easier to ground sometimes too. So if you have trouble grounding or if you have anxiety or kind of like high nerves, this is really great for that kind of personality as well, because it's like our bodies connect. And as you're following my body's communicating with yours and yours is communicating back to me. And I can kind of feel into it as we go. So that's kind of makes it a little different. And then there's also old sessions. If you want to do a recording on my old YouTube or on my YouTube channel, I have old ones that are probably still really relevant. They each have some keywords on them. So if you just scrolled through and are like, oh, I'm feeling like I need to be more connected, and then you just click on that, that would be a good way also. you can't make it to a Thursday, or you wanted to try something today, or as soon as after you watch this, you can always do that as well.
And Kara's extremely intuitive and she does readings too. So, and she's going to give us a little example of a reading that will serve anybody who's watching this video. But her soul reading sessions, you want to share about your new offering that you have with that too?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm doing, it was called to do intuitive soul message reading. So kind of what my clients are working on, getting in touch with their intuition, getting in touch with their soul, their higher guides, their highest self, doing stuff like that. So I wanted to create a little bit offering where I could kind of be of service in that way. And it almost thinks, I don't know, for some reason, I think of it like getting your hair done, like going to a stylist almost. Like they're bringing out your natural beauty. They're cleaning you, like refreshing, clarifying, like you're more put together. So it's kind of like that. So I am going to use cards for this one because it is nice to have them, and then you can kind of relate to the cards. But then as I read the cards, I'm going to record for you a 15-minute intuitive message. So whatever comes out and whatever comes through for you, it might be something with your energy, it might be something with the cards, it might not be something through the cards too, I'm not sure. And so you'll just get that little 15-minute reading with the cards, and you'll have some clarity. So if you're asking like, why, what am I supposed to do next? What's my next direction? Or like, you're just feeling like dulled, like, when your hair needs to be cut, you're feeling dulled, you're feeling disconnected. This is a great way to just like a little spruce up, a little bit of magic coming into your life, and a little bit of hope is always nice to have too, right? Like something to focus on. So that's kind of what this offering is. It's small, it's a taste. I think I described it as like if I were to go meet with your soul and then I'd write a message down, and it'd be like, in your pocket, you got a message from your soul kind of feeling to it.
I love that.
So definitely something
Wonderful.
to bring you into a higher vibration, and nothing to be scared about or anything like that. Like you're going to be like, oh, you're doomed and your life is over kind of thing. It's not one of those things. It definitely will serve you to raise your vibration, do something to benefit you in the long run.
And so I'm just curious too so our listeners and anybody who's drawn to you can feel the pull. What do you notice most people are drawn to you for? Like the clients that are being drawn to you, what are the issues that you're helping them move through so that people might be like, I need that. You're my person.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the deck I pulled out was the Elemental Empath. So I work a lot with empathic, sensitive souls that don't really know how to work with their system. They kind of were taught on a different system. Like here's like the general basic societal blueprint that you're supposed to work like, but it doesn't work for you. So I kind of rip back all the layers with them and start to view themselves in a new perspective. So it's like a new perspective. There's a lot of emotional release and emotional healing. So if you've been through tough losses, emotionally abusive relationships, like the narcissistic abuse, and you're still working through those things in order to find yourself again, because those things do all to kind of take your reality away and hijack it and lead you to giving away your power. So I'm here to kind of help you get rid of that emotions, like release the things, unattach the cords, but then build yourself back up and find your authenticity and start to heal your nervous system. So I definitely work with a lot of people that their nervous system is not in a ideal position. They might, usually they're like overactive nervous systems where you're often in fear or you're in doubt, or you're going to think the worst case scenario is happening. Or if you think like somebody thinks you're mean, everybody hates you, like stuff like that, that kind of complexes that we get as sensitive souls and people that do have a kind heart, really, just naturally, because you're kind of walking around thinking everybody's approaching life like that. And so it kind of sometimes can lead you into some hurtful situations because you're thinking someone has these intentions and they're having a totally different one. So
Right. It's trust issues, paranoia,
Trust
all of
issues,
that.
yeah, like people pleasers, like the good girl complex, all those things are very close to my heart, and I think go well with what I offer because I'm very gentle. I'm honest, and I like to be raw, but I like a gentle space. Like I can't be pushed in certain ways. Like Nicole knew how to push me. And I think I know how to push, the sensitive soul so that you're not going to crash and you're not going to burn. And, I'm not going to make things worse because I know how you felt. I've been there. And that's why I relate mostly,
Yeah.
my archetype, one other one that I've recently come to learn is the sage. And I was like, not really understanding that, but it's just like, what I do is I have to experience the thing and then am given the wisdom. So anything that I'm going to give you wisdom about, most likely I've gone through that. And I say sometimes to people, I feel like I've lived 1,000 lifetimes in this life because it's just like so many things happen. But it all comes back to I want to experience it so that I can be with you in a way that you feel understood. Because I think that was one of the things too that I liked about working with an intuitive guide is that I felt understood. I didn't feel like I had to explain who I was all the time or like why what they were saying wasn't resonating because it was based on me. And so if you are kind of feel like that, like you're misunderstood and you need a gentle landing space. It's someone that's like, yeah, I know what you went through. It's a big deal, and I understand the bigness of that. Like that's what I'm here for. That's what I've been placed here for in this lifetime. So I think that
Yeah.
kind of sums up a lot of
No, and I was gonna touch on that too, is that she has the codes for that because she had to transcend so much anxiety and relationship trauma. And we don't need to go into the story, but it's just for you guys to all know that that becomes your superpower once you transcend it and what you will help others with. So it's actually a gift, and you don't realize it until you actually transcend it, and then you get the wisdom. And then you will also see, and I can speak to this too, is the people that pushed us and hold us to a higher caliber was because they saw that in us and it was exactly what we needed. And even
mm-hmm,
though at the time when you're in it, you're like, you're pushing me too much. It's like sometimes people you do need the push,
mm-hmm,
right? So, and I find that
mm-hmm.
it's not the ones, like for instance, who Kara might be attracting. Yes, gentle, holding, divine mother, nourishing, nurturing energy, but also, being a firm and telling you where you need to take action on things.
Exactly.
But for me, I'm a leader to leaders and healers. So I have to have that Kali energy with you because you're supposed to be supporting so many other souls. And it's kind of like, I got to disrupt your reality a
Yeah.
little bit. And so I just want to speak to that for those of you who you feel stuck and stagnant, but you know you're a leader versus that you just need to do some trauma inner work, right? Like
Right.
you're gonna need to understand that you either way you're gonna be stretched. You're gonna be stretched. And it's just
Yeah.
we have to normalize that like transformation is not comfortable. It's not.
No. No, no, no,
Not at all.
no.
Like the reason why we all can hold so much light that do this work is because we had to go to the deepest, darkest places,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
exactly. Yep.
and
Yeah.
that's the stories. And that's why when you start making content, I feel like this is an activation today for you to tell more of your story and bring the storytelling
Yeah.
like of your life and your experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Because there's been a lot for sure. And yeah, and like there is that's like the nice thing about having this kind of energetic management and having the skills is because like you can push people farther because they they can feel like they have a net of some sort. Like they don't
Yeah.
feel like you're pushing them to your death, you know, because
Yeah.
like it's designed that way. It's designed
And
to be able to push you in uncomfortable ways while you're capable of doing it, not like, oh, let me see you fall down. And
yeah, and I think that people wouldn't be drawn to you if they weren't ready for you,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. And there's like, yeah, like when you're coming to this direction, yeah, it's like you're at that point where like you know what you know, but you're like ready. You're like, let me take my hand, like let's walk. Like I'm
Yeah.
ready. Like that's where definitely
And that's
I'm
where
at.
the magic happens.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you'll know, you'll know when you're ready because it you won't be able to say no a lot of the time when you're really at that point, I feel like. And that's kind of what happened to me. Like I wasn't like I could have said no, of course, but like everything on the no side looked dark and everything on the light side was like on the yes side looked so bright and I was like, okay, that's weird. Like okay, yep, that's where I'm going now. All right. It just can be as simple as that. It's kind of
That's like
crazy.
me, even with my travels. Like, I'm being called to go to Italy in like 2 weeks. And I'm like,
Oh,
what? Like, what? 2 weeks? Like, yep, you gotta just book it, just go. Like, you can take your clients while you're there. You'll just fix the schedule. Yep, you got work to do. And I'm like, okay, all right. And that's just my life. Like I have to just trust when I get called to those places because they transform my life. Whenever I'm called to a site or a different place, it's just everything transforms very rapidly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're not like if you don't have access to your body and your intuition, like those things aren't even gonna be on your radar because like you can't overthink it. You can't think about it. Like it's a feel and a do kind of situation for sure. It really gives you an advantage, I think. You know, like the mind does get in the way. It's good to have both doors open, the mind and the body and the intuition and everything else.
I will say this because it's funny, and I've said it to you because, you've worked with me. But so for when I used to get called to do like these crazy things, like invest in coaches or take these trips that costed a lot of money to travel around the world, right? And do these things, my human mind would be like, but I don't, I can't, I'm not going to be able to afford to pay that. Like, how am I going to pay that back? Or that's going to put me in the negative and this, and like all the reasons why I shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
And spirit would literally say to me, why are you only going by what's in your bank account? You have access to infinite supply. Why are you only limiting to yourself what's in the bank
Oh,
account? You
yeah.
do not believe that you have access to an infinite supply and like the universal bank of wisdom? So why would you deprive yourself and not go and trust that we will bring the resources right back to you? But the courageous moment right now is, will you make the investment? Will you put it up out front and trust that it will come back? And so that's always been it for me. That's why when I get the call now, it's like I don't battle and go back and forth. Sometimes I'll be like a little, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
I just got to do it because
Yeah.
whenever I do it, that's when I'm open to receive more because I'm showing the universe that I'm ready to play big and I play in the infinite realm, in the quantum realm. I'm not playing in the small realm. I'd still be at my job as a microbiologist if I was going to play in that realm.
Yeah.
So you got to really believe.
Yeah. And that takes time for sure to like get in that position because like I definitely have tested it like, oh, okay, I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, I was wrong. I should have did it. Or like,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know,
and
and you
it's
learn.
funny too because I'm not going to say it always comes back right away. It's a test of
Mm,
consciousness.
mhm.
It's a test.
Yeah.
For me, anyways, I'm just speaking from my
Agreed.
experience. It doesn't, but it's a test because then when it is payday, it's a big motherfucking payday. Excuse my language, but that's just how it's been in my experience. When it comes back, it comes back.
Yeah.
So
And that's what we look for in humans, like that direct, that instant correlation. But like that's not how it works, the
no,
energy at
not
all.
and especially if it's your soul's path to, because we all have different missions, we all have different learning lessons. And for
Right.
me, one of mine was to cultivate trust with myself, to have faith, like to be the person that could be like, okay, God, you got $3 in my bank account. What the hell's going on? I'm not giving in. I'm not going back to a regular job and then land $200,000 and I'm the following month. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the realms
Yep.
that I'm playing in, and I'm okay with that. Not that I've gotten down to that low. I'm just saying, like, I'm at the point now that I see how it goes that I would trust myself because I've seen what I can create when I trust and when I listen. I just
Yeah.
think that's important to say to all of you that are using the limitations um, of how much money you have right now. And some people might be like, that's crazy. Like, I only have this, I only have that. Listen, if you've looked at some of these people and these stories, people have transcended and had miracles happen when they follow through and they risk on themselves, they invest in themselves,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
It's scary. I mean, it's definitely
It's scary.
it
It's
can be
not.
scary, but that's just like when you're gonna go ahead and step out, it's just you get used to you get used to that feeling because like it should be scary, right? It would be weird if you weren't scared, but you don't have to stop doing it because you're scared. You just, if you're not scared, that might be another issue of like like you need to get in touch with your discernment a little bit kind of thing. Like the
I think you need
balance
to
there.
be, I think the healthy thing is to have anxiety and be excited at the same time and to know that right? It's like
Yep.
you're anxious, you don't know what the hell you just did, but you're excited
Yep.
and you have no idea. You're like not attached. There's no definite outcome, but you're committed. And I think that that's where we stretch and expand on a whole
Yeah, and
new.
it's like opens the flow because you don't have all those roadblocks that you placed yourself in front of it because the road's open now. So all you have to do is go down it, which isn't all you have to do, but it's like it is that simple sometimes.
That was my quantum leap in consciousness for me. Like, and I guess I'm saying this right now because, you're building a business
Yeah.
and also this when you invest like the way that you invested big, when you invest like that, you also hold the codes for you to receive at that level and start to work up the courage for you to own it, right? And
Yeah.
call it forth, but also hold that person through their anxiety and their fears because now you have the codes. Like
Right.
you've literally moved through it. But for me, I'd have to say that like that's what put me in a whole new realm. And I'm not just saying in investing in coaches. I mean, when you leave a job and
Yeah.
then you start following spirit's call to travel around the world and do this work or come on, right? Like the way you're sharing your gifts, like
Hmm.
those are leaps when you,
Yeah.
even if you're not investing or traveling, guys, and you decide I want to start sharing my gifts publicly, like even you just going on Instagram or YouTube and speaking every day, even if nobody is watching,
Hmm.
you're already up leveling your game. You're already surpassing the limitations to put you in a whole new playing field.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it could just be those little things. It's so true. And they're so powerful to shift, just those tiny little things. And a lot of the time it's funny because, people are watching some of the time, but they're not interacting with you, or you're like adding to the collective consciousness of everybody. So you're making it easier for that next person. Like a lot of us come from like caring about others, and service does motivate us and inspire us, and you're helping by just taking that little step out, that next person doesn't feel as alone when they take a little step out, and the other person doesn't feel it alone. And it just kind of like culminates in that way, where that's when you start webbing together and finding those connections and creating these communities. I think it takes, everybody has to speak about it in the realm that they can, and in the realm that's right for them, you know.
I love that. And it's so true because you never know who you're inspiring, even if it's just one person.
Yeah, you really never, that was like
You
a
never
big
know.
lesson for me recently. I don't know what I put out something on social media, and an old high school friend that I've known since I was like 14, he like commented, and he's like, every time I saw you back in the day when you used to stop at this one guy's house and say hello, like I just felt like I need to not be sitting here playing video games. I need to be like experiencing life, and like this like thing that I didn't do anything. I didn't even know that I was showing up that way. And he's like, ever since those days, like whenever I play video games, I always like stand up and walk, or like I do it on a bike, or I make sure like there's like a deeper reason for me doing it. And I was like, that's crazy. Like I had no idea, like just me showing up as myself, probably at a time when I was totally like insecure about who I was and not owning everything, you know, just that little thing just was like opened up that whole world for him till now. You know, that was when we were 14, now we're 41 years old. So
Yeah, you never know who's watching. I always, when I like something, I always try to like or comment on somebody's thing because it does. It makes, it is nice to know who's watching, who's in your community. So those of you guys who are watching this, come on. If you like it, then give us a heart, give us a like. Let
yeah.
us know. Let us see you. Let us see you and let us feel you and let us like give back some love to you for tuning in and being a part of this.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely, like, I think it just like escapes people's minds too when you're reading things. You know, you're just the consumer, so you're not thinking about it from the other side of like, we really do want to hear from you. Like, we're not like, oh, why did this person like this or anything else? Like, nobody's really paying attention. We just want to just like communicate. That's all.
I love to see like people's names and faces. You
Yeah.
know, like I love to see that. Like, because
Yeah.
for me anyways, when somebody likes or comments, I like literally I send some love right back. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. I acknowledge you. I see you. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. It is a new way of like engagement of energy that's kind of new since we grew up with none of that. Like being
Yeah.
able to like give attention or focus of some sort is like to someone that you don't even know or like you'll never see in person. It's kind of a gift in that sense to be able to do that. Especially people that are feeling maybe misunderstood and lonely right now, just that back and forth of, hey, you're not alone. We're in this together. There's way more of us than you think. I think that that happens a lot. And when you're kind of awakening and going on this journey and you've decided you're going to show up for yourself, like it can feel lonely. And I think like, you know, everybody that is out there putting their stuff out there, like they feel like you feel, even though they appear confident and, you know, like everything's together sometimes, you know, that's just the work, but they are completely there with you. You know, we're all walking into the unknown and feeling uncomfortable and working through it together. So I think it's important no matter what you're doing, even if you're just that person that, you know, asks everybody how they are in the morning when they walk in and smile at them in your workplace, like that you're doing it, you're doing the thing. So I just think that's important to talk
Yeah,
about and acknowledge.
it is. Empower and uplift others consciously. Speaking of our whole conversation, I'm looking at my tea bag. I just think it's so funny. My tea bags are always so appropriate for these podcasts.
Yes.
Okay. Be fearless. Know that all will be provided at the right time. I'm going to say that
Hmm.
again. Be fearless. Know that all will be provided at the right time. Okay? So, those of
Hmm.
you who are scared to leap, make changes, are unsure of what's going on, just follow. Follow your intuition, do the things, and it will all reveal at the right time. You're provided for. We
Yeah.
all are. In the ways that our soul needs it. Maybe not our human ego, material realm world, but like on a soul level, you will always get what you need.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's the foundation of it all.
Right? And then we got to trust that. And when that means even the people that are really difficult at times for us, they're exactly what we need. And
Yeah,
I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but like
it
we
is
needed to
true.
heal. We needed to heal some things.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it definitely is hard to hear when you're in it. You're in it and you're still
Yep.
hurting and you're like, there should be no reason for this all, but when you come around to it, I can see why, I got into certain relationships. It's because I was looking at that person and I was like, wow, you're really free. You're really free and able to just be like however you want to be. And here I am like hiding away. So I'm going to be with you because you basically have what I needed to learn in the long run, that I could also do that, but not in a malicious manner. So that was definitely holds true for every experience I've pretty much ever had, is
Oh yeah.
people that, it's hard to close, to have closure, and the relationships of humans, it just gets so messy, especially with social media, because like you see these people now too, like even if people left your life or whatnot, there's so much more access to like all these old memories and everything else. But the stage comes out eventually and you can see, yeah, some of the problems, and you'll see why they're there, and it was to pull things out of you. And sometimes it's like, I hate to admit it, they had what I wanted. They had the boldness, and I was like, darn it, I'm just going to be with them and they'll be bold for me. And like, okay, that was a lesson, obviously. No one's going to be bold for you. And it is, you know, the test. Are you going to give up certain parts of yourself in order to have someone else do something for you? Or is it that you're going to eventually take that on and stand your ground and do it yourself? And I think it always pays off to eventually take on that accountability and do it yourself.
I know we want you to read cards, but I got to tell you, this is coming through for you. So I feel like I have to do this before you read the cards, because
Mm-hmm.
maybe the cards will have it, because this is, I love to give my guests just like a little download, a little transmission that is going to propel them forward on their path. And it's just coming through. So let's do this, Kara. I'm
All
just going
right.
to give you some energy to move you forward. And
All
I'm
right.
really excited. The fairies are coming in big time for this. So, and all of you guys are going to receive from this, because this is all, the fairies bring joy and pleasure back to life. They want us to remember to have more fun, and to play more and to follow our dreams, and don't let the dreams die inside of us, especially at this time when there's so many souls that are going to be crossing over. Okay, so here we go. This is really dear to you in your heart, Kara. So I just want you to hold your heart and hold your belly, and think of those beautiful is it geodesic domes that you love, right? The
Mm-hmm.
geodesic domes. And I want you to
Mm-hmm.
see yourself in this beautiful, beautiful geodesic dome. And you're standing there and it's empty. And like a fairy with a magical wand, you can put the yoga mats, you can put the pillows, you can put the flowers, you can set up this beautiful soul sanctuary, this sacred space, this geodesic dome space that holds all the souls that you're meant to serve for this beautiful, epic retreat, a retreat into stillness, into nourishment, into discovery, into exploration, into authenticity, and just really feel the energy building as you see yourself standing there, and you're getting taller and taller and taller to the point where you are actually now coming out of the dome and standing tall and merging in as this huge tree, this huge sequoia tree, roots in the ground, branches expanding, birds are coming and sitting on the branches, butterflies are flying around, the grass is getting greener. You're coming into your power, and as you come into your power, your message gets brighter. Your signal gets brighter. It gets louder, and you become stronger and rooted in your message. And it lights up the grid, and it calls forth your ideal soulmate clients to you, the ones that you're supposed to help guide. You're a guide. You don't carry people. You don't do the work for them. You are a guide. And feel this. Feel all this energy in your heart. And take this moment and start calling in your ideal clients. See them coming. See them coming. You're calling it out from the north, the south, the east, and the west. They're coming. They're coming. Let them come in. Let them, all those that can't even fit in the dome, let them be on the land, playing in the land, playing with the elementals, playing with the fairies. We're building your energy, your frequency, your soul sanctuary. And that is a mission for you, to create these sacred spaces for souls that are sensitive to transform, to find their way, to find their space, to find home within themselves. And you create this sacred haven for them where they can blossom. So just feel all this energy coming in. Drink, 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 drink it up. Let it be in your heart. As this visual is still holding, it's not going away. The visual is there. We're anchoring, we're imprinting it in. We're going to expand your reach. We're broadcasting your signal for your generous nature, your pure intentions and heart to really help people find their way, find their power. Because you know what it is like to have it stripped from you. And it took you so long to rebuild it back, so long to be here. And you want to save people time. You don't want to see them waste another precious moment or breath doing what does not serve them. And these are for all the young souls that have left the earth too early. You leave a legacy here when you work with children and teenagers and young adults, and you bring back the magic to childhood, back the innocence that our children are losing so fast. And you open the doors for more work with children. Let them come in, let them all run around you, see them like little ladybugs. They're showing me like little ladybugs, like all these little children, and even like dressed up in these little costumes, and they're playing, and everybody's pretending and being a different archetype, and they're playing and they're exploring themselves, and they're in all these different costumes as they're exploring new archetypes, and the children are getting to remember more of their essence by the play and the laughter and being in nature. And so this is for you. This is you. This is a dream that your soul wants the world to hear right now. So anybody who's listening, if this sounds like you, If you know someone who needs this, then Kara is the signal for you. Kara is that person for you. Trust it. Always have the courage to start before you're ready. I'm going to say that to you again. Always have the courage to start before you are ready. And you are ready. You are ready. We're going to close this up. We're going to freshen it up. We're going to freshen it up. We're going to bring in high vibe energy for everybody watching. We're freshening it up. We're bringing in this beautiful high vibe energy. Just feel it coming in. Opening up, opening up. Beautiful. And just feel that beautiful blue butterfly in your heart. This is your vision. This is for you. May you remember. And may you start before you're ready.
Thank you.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Good.
You can
Good.
feel it, right? You can feel
Yeah.
the potency of it.
Yeah.
It's so there. It's so real. It's already happening.
Yeah.
It's already happening. It's that tangible. You just need to connect to it. It's already happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw it. Yeah.
I felt it. I mean, it was like the seeing and the feeling. It's
Yeah.
already happening for you. You just have to plug in and do it.
Yeah.
Find that space.
Sounds beautiful.
There's one in upstate New York. I saw somebody who has like a dome space like that in upstate New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
I'll
think you,
find the name and I'll send it to you. Did I send it?
I
Feel
think you might have sent it to me before.
I think it's
Yeah.
called a Kara, a Kara, Akera. I don't know. We'll have to look at it.
Yeah. 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 It sounds beautiful. Sounds like somewhere I'd show up for sure. And probably never want to leave, but
It's destined.
yeah.
You just gotta make it happen.
Yep. Things
Yeah.
will happen. Yeah, that's exactly how, I mean, I feel like that's how things have always been. You just didn't know, I didn't notice it. Like the
Yeah.
energy's there, and then eventually I'm like, okay, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Okay, wait, someone told me not to. Okay, but I'll do it anyways. It just like that's how my dance studio opens. It was a vision. It was a dream, and then I went to look at the space, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the space. So I look forward to showing up at that space and being like, this is it. This is what we saw. This is how it felt. This is everything.
Yeah.
I totally believe that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so alive. It's so right for you.
Yeah.
It's so ready for you to believe in it being filled and
Yeah.
it working out. You just gotta believe that it will work out and
Yeah.
just take the steps. Don't wait for it to land on your lap. You have to go find it and take the
Right.
action and do it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know it's scary. It always is when we have to do
Oh,
those things,
yeah.
but that's what expands us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Opening up, just, yeah. Next level in. Coming.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, pull your cards and we'll see we'll seal it up with your card pulling.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you everybody for
yeah.
listening to us go on. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's already 7:14 here. I'm
Oh my
like,
goodness.
time just flies.
It does. It does. And it's always like, before I met you, I never really experienced this kind of energy within a container. And so just acknowledging that's amazing to be in the presence of that gift and
Oh,
be creating, my own flavor of that because it's really a unique experience. Even just being here talking to you, I'm like, okay, I feel all this stuff again. Oh, here's Nicole.
right? Because I bring the fire and the light to get the dreams flowing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I love it. I love it. All right. So we have, oh, okay. So first we have courage. It's a fire card. Inner strength, action, trust self, types of bravery.
Wait a minute. Can you see how perfect it is that we did your soul sanctuary thing and then this just came
I
through?
can't make this stuff up. I
Okay, so
really
just say
can't.
it again. Read it again.
So
So
it's
everybody.
so it's a fire card. So these cards are attached to an element, and it is courage. So inner strength, action, trust self, and it says types of bravery, which I'm not sure what types of bravery those are, but I think it is brave to be vulnerable. And I think that's probably a missing thing in our society these days. It's like if you're vulnerable, then like you're weak. But really, when you're vulnerable, that takes like insurmountable strength to do that and to put yourself on the line, not just like, things that aren't attached to you. You're putting yourself and everything else like showing up. You're walking your talk, as they say,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So that's probably what they were talking about there. Oh, and then I get the rest. Always reminding me because I know what this is for, and I think it's probably for people out there too. It's slow down, connect to nature, calm your system because there needs to be balance with the fire. There needs to be the grounding balance there. And when you're very inspired and you're very passionate and you can feel all the excitement, sometimes you let it get so far ahead of yourself and rush into it and don't stay with your, rituals and making sure you're resting and making sure you're staying connected with yourself. So I think it's reminding that in your actions to balance them out with the rest. And, if you're like me, then, or like us, to make sure you're actually scheduling those in, not just like waiting till you feel like you're going to, be overwhelmed or pass out, like putting that as part of your process instead of being like, oh my gosh, am I going to burn out? Like you're like, no, I'm not going to burn out because I know I need to rest within my inspiration and action. And I can create a beautiful harmonization of these two energies and forces. So,
Well, that's so true. And I gotta say that I went through a stage about a month and a half ago where I had all these downloads coming in and I was so inspired with so much fire. And I was like working in the middle of the night, I would wake up, I couldn't sleep. I was like restless. I would like get up and
yeah,
I would like just start working and channeling and letting it come through that I lost boundaries with myself and I needed rest. And what happened after that, I like crashed for like 3 days because I
yeah,
didn't have boundaries with myself. So it's great to have like the fire and the inspiration and passion, but I can also have boundaries with my higher guides and my team and just be like, yo, I'm a human in this vessel. We, I'm inspired. I'm ready to create. Yes, it's powerful, but I have to function here. Like, I have to function and balance this out. So that's
yeah,
been always a lesson for me because before I would have used to say, I can just go, I get those bursts of inspiration. I'm just go, 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 go. But I realize now there's a whole new paradigm happening of like really, really balancing and having boundaries with my creation cycles, honoring the bursts of creativity, but also knowing that I need to replenish like daily, like daily. For me, I have to
right.
replenish daily or I can tip the other way really easily. I mean, that's a non-negotiable for myself, like the replenishment practices daily.
Yeah, definitely. And it's part of the work too is realizing what you need and having that intuitive connection open and being willing to listen to your body and talk to your body and ask it what it needs. Because we do have to drive around, I would say drive around in our bodies down here. Like what does your manual say? Like, you can do this much and then you need to fill up your gas tank, like at this mileage. You know, I think that's important for all of us to know. And it is so valuable to know it. This isn't just like inner work where it's not like frivolous things. This is like going to change your whole trajectory, how you do everything. Once you know what works for you, it's like the benefits are, you know, it's invaluable. It is invaluable because, yeah.
It is such a good point. I'm so glad that you touched on that and said that because, guys, this isn't just like tapping into your spiritual gifts, energy work, resetting your nervous system and feeling good and da 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 da. This is a whole fucking life change. I cursed again, but that's okay. This is a whole life change. Like every
Mhm.
area of your life improves because when you are more of you, all your relationships improve, the way
Mhm.
you create, the way you take care of your body. And
Yeah.
I just want to add one more thing too, because this is a personal thing that's happening for me right now, is as I'm going through this huge recalibration and shift myself and elevation, my body is changing. And so I want to just normalize that for all of you listening that are like, why is it sometimes during my awakening I lose a bunch of weight? Then sometimes I'm gaining a bunch of weight. Sometimes I'm really tired. Sometimes I feel like I'm sick or autoimmune diseases are coming up. You know, we all have all these different things that happen during different cycles of our spiritual awakening, which we're constantly having. We're constantly climbing up the evolutionary ladder. So please don't judge if like you're in one of those seasons where you're having a bunch of health things come up for you that you have to take care of, or you're not looking the way that you know, it all varies. But more importantly, the way you're feeling in your body. And I think that's important to say because we all process energy during different cycles of our life differently. So just please be kind to yourself during this process.
Yeah, yeah, and just honoring that your body is showing up in the way it needs to, you know, and just loving it for that. And a lot of the pain and suffering will come like when your body's about to heal. Like it's a healing process, right? Like we said, healing is messy. It's not like this beautiful like blossoming of a flower that we kind of think about. Like it is a little bit, but at the end of it, but there's like all the messiness in there. And part of that is your body, like getting messy, pain, feeling uncomfortable,
Yeah.
changes, holding on to things in different ways, you know, and it is good to lean into it almost instead of fighting it, or even just like spending hours over analyzing, like why is, you know, like you see, you know, why is my body changing this way? Just like why don't I love my body like this? Like, you know, like can I love my body like this? Is my
Yeah.
body working for me? And then you always come back around to like, yeah, it just wants like my support. Like it's your vessel. I mean, as humans, we have a lot of ego things about our appearance and how our body appears and ideas of what healthy means to us, but tapping back into, you know, the fact that your body is a gift for you to travel on this earth and for everything you experience. It's your like divine machinery. So regardless if it's malfunctioning, it's still divine machinery and it's probably doing some kind of reset, retest, something else. So don't get discouraged. And a lot of times I feel like even just as a woman, just to, like this pops up. So just to say it, like your cycle, like the
Yeah.
moon cycle, if you're on your period or you're not on your period, like regardless if you get it or not, we're all on this moon cycle. And I notice like some days I'm like, woo, I'm looking sexy and fun. And like a week later, I'm like, why am I disgusting? I hate everything about myself, you know? But it's really just because like I'm feeling a little off. And so like I just need to look a little closer at myself and be like, no, 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 you're still there. This is just like you bringing into like your vision about like your body just not feeling that great right now. And you still look awesome. And it doesn't, but I think that happens to a lot of us, just to notice like, oh, these are the days that I feel really just like not that pretty, but like you're still awesome.
I know
Oh,
it's a whole nother podcast, right?
it
Talking
should,
about
yeah.
how women are, even men do it too, you know. Um,
Definitely.
yeah.
And just bodies are a complicated thing, but that's part of the process too. It is taking care of that physical thing. It's not just all about being away from the body. It's like it's actually about being in the body deeper, more efficiently, more conscious, all of that. So we're
And
not
that's
escaping the bodies around here.
no. And that's the beautiful thing about this gift of what we're talking about, of discovering more of who you truly are and what works for you, because we all have a unique soul's blueprint, meaning that we
Yes.
all are going to respond differently to diet, differently to environments, differently to people. Like we
Yep.
all have our unique design. And so that's what I love about the work that we do. It's helping people be their unique selves, their authentic selves, and live life by their design, and helping them build a life where they're thriving in every single way.
Right.
This is not just plugging you into like, okay, now you're on the keto diet, or now you're
Yeah.
on you're play these sound bowls for this and do this. Like, it's self-exploration, and an emergent teaching style is so healing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely.
Okay, I think we should wrap this up. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else you want to say? Are you good with the cards, or do you feel like you want one more? What do you feel?
We'll do a closing card because
Okay.
we're just gonna go by intuition. We're not gonna read the book. The book is very nice if anybody is interested in their own set of cards and you are an empath. Like these are really nice. And when you look at them, they give you like different exercises or
Wait, is
meditations.
that a jaguar?
Oh yeah, it is a jaguar, of course. I have its
So,
photo right over
so
here.
she signed up with me for the Golden Jaguar path. That was the first.
That's
Um,
literally a golden jaguar too, just to say. Of course it is. But it's really nice. It gives you the light side, the shadow side. So it's a nice supportive little like guide in your pocket a little bit.
yeah. I love how we're both wearing like the same colors,
It's
basically.
so crazy. Like I just got this. Like this was one of the things that I said I was getting to. It's just weird. Oh, and there we go. We matched the card. We got a divine cosmic energy card, raise vibration, connect to light, release blocks, strengthen, and safety. And these are like clearly all of the things that we focus on, and just this wonderful, empowered woman here. Reaching up, but look at her feet are barefoot dancing on the ground. So
Mhm.
from the root and up, and it's the colors. And I think it's just a sign for everybody, keep connecting to the light and keep going. Your process is processing. It's going, it's happening. So, and reach out for support if you need it, of course, because definitely wouldn't have gotten this far without Nicole as, a mentor and somebody to just hold your hand, really. It's like you really do need that at times, and it is empowering. So, and this is just a lovely opportunity to connect
Mhm.
with everybody out there and with us and bring our energies together. So I think the cards are really pushing us all to keep going, and that all of the work that you're doing, like we said in the beginning, it's happening. It's happening in ways you can't see it yet. It's not an exact one-to-one kind of realm we live in. It doesn't go that exact. I feel like the human, sometimes it's like a hard mode. It's not easy to show up. Life was never meant to be easy. We're supposed to learn and grow, and especially this time on the earth right now, we're growing in consciousness, and we're taking, we're taking ourselves out of the tribe as individuals, but we're also being able to be individuals in the tribe. And that's huge. That's huge. And it's a huge undertaking. So we need everybody here and
Yes.
doing the best we can.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. I will have all Kara's contact information in the show notes, so please look. And I do want to mention that those of you that aren't ready to do one-on-one work, I want to recommend my Reclaim program. I just feel like it is screaming for attention right now because it literally is transformative. Guys, you will feel like I'm in person there with you, and there's so much in there. I mean, this is an epic next level program. I don't think there's anything in the world, and I will own that, that is out there that is like the Reclaim program. And I just know that it is going to help so many people. If you say yes to it, it's already helped so many people. I just want to put it out there because I really think it is a fundamental for new earth leadership, and especially for people that are sensitive to energy.
Yeah, it's like, it's invaluable, the amount of information that is in that program.
Yeah, you guys have no idea. It's not like, I know it says it's 9 weeks, but it's literally probably like a year worth of study and information. And like, you can even pass this on to your clients or your family and people that you love. I mean, it's invaluable. It is so transformative.
Yeah.
So definitely. And I made it accessible to have payment plans too. So like, there's even a 9-month payment plan. I want to see you guys do the inner work and up level and just live your best life. So if that is like a fundamental place to start, even before you work with me, I feel like that's something to check out because I'm gonna refer you to it anyways. Like, I'm gonna give it to you. I give it to people in my high level mentorships as a bonus of working with me because I refer them to the exercises in there for homework because it's so powerful.
Yeah, for sure. I can attest to that.
So, okay. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Sending you all so much love, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.